So I'm going to be reading from the book Kalakuta Diaries, The Good, Bad and the Nasty. This particular paragraph I'm going to read from is just to portray the deity-like impression or personality that Fela had. As a matter of fact, this one transcends the ordinary boundaries of a regular human being. It transcends even the so-called cult-like personalities that some other people are fortunate to carry. But in Fela's case, this particular incident I'm going to read about will tell you how even men of the underworld, armed robbers or whatever you want to call them, even deitified Fela. For those of you who are non-Nigerians, I would like to define the phrase armed robber or armed robbery to you guys. These are particular sets of people who go robbing people armed, with automatic weapons, machetes, cudgels, or whatever. And when they come for you, it's either you do what they want or you get killed. Some even rob you, take everything and still kill you if they think you might recognize them subsequently. So, enjoy the reading. So before going back to Benin, I went out clubbing with Fela to 3 different clubs on the same night, starting from Ikeja and ending up somewhere in Victoria Island. At Ikeja, we went first to the Clash nightclub, owned by John Chukwu, a comedian. Afterward, the entourage number about 10, moved to another club in Maryland, where one of his numerous girlfriends convinced Fela to take her to a club on the island. On our way to Victoria Island, somewhere on the Ijora electricity substation, on the Eco Bridge, we drove over a tire rail some armed robbers placed on the road. Although Fela was driving at breakneck speed, I could see the rain rolling to the side of the road because I was sitting at the back of the bus, and I told Fela what I saw. And he had already noticed that we had a broken axle. Fela stopped the car immediately because he had figured out that what was going on. We were about to be attacked by armed robbers. Notwithstanding, Fela asked Kazim, one of his musicians who had the habit of tagging along any time Fela was going to the club, to open the door and check what was wrong with the wheels, right there in the middle of the road. None of us saw them coming. As a matter of fact, I thought the hoodlums germinated out of the tarred road. All of a sudden, they were all over the bus, brandishing all kinds of dangerous weapons, from shining to rusted-looking machetes, cudgels, and guns, and numbering about 12 or more. One of them already raised his machete to strike Kazim on the head, as armed robbers usually do in Nigeria, to make compliance of the rest of the occupants automatic, when Kazim screamed at him in the Yoruba language, "Felani," which means it is Fela, in a tone that suggested no fear and more of a rebuke. Bam! The man stood still like he had been struck by lightning, or better still by Shango, the Yoruba traditional deity of thunder. Then he turned around and disappeared into thin air with the rest of the gang, who had all heard Kazim's rebuke. I was just sitting there and staring like I was in a trance or some B-rated movie. Then I heard Fela's voice sounding so far away, asking Kazim to get in and close the door. Kazim was still fidgeting with the door when he saw a police patrol car driving by and was waving them to stop, obviously to report the incident, and he incurred Fela's tongue lashing. "Have you gone Have you gone mad? Don't you know they are working in concert with the boys? We just came to confirm if they succeeded or not. You dumbass. Fela then turned to the policemen who had already stopped and told them, we mistakenly thought their vehicle was a taxi and apologized for waving them to stop. 2 days later, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper captured the incident in its opinion column like this. It was reported that armed robbers attacked the vehicle of Afrobeat megastar Fela Kalakuta, and on discovering the occupant of the vehicle, the robbers fled, which means that even the men of the underworld have their own sacred cows. Right on, Abamiyeda. Then to confirm that this incident was not a case of luck, a similar incident happened again some years later on the Benin-Shagamu Expressway when Fela was returning to Lagos from a tour of the eastern part of Nigeria. Armed robbers were on a rampage somewhere around the axis of the expressway, which made vehicle owners stop and park their vehicles some kilometers away from the scene of the robbery for fear of being victims too. Even the other tour bus conveying the band members and hangers-on was also among the vehicles that unfortunately got stuck in a robbery jam, and everybody in the bus had absconded into the bush. Fela, who was habitually sleeping at the back seat row of this bus, woke up because of the panic of the people inside the bus. After being told that armed robbers were operating a few kilometers away, he calmly got up, went to the bus driver, and told him not to panic, but to keep on driving slowly towards the robbery scene. On getting to the robbery scene, the robbers, who were wondering what could have given the bus driver the balls to drive up to where they were operating, had their automatic rifles all turned towards the bus, ready to fire. When suddenly, Fela opened one of the bus windows and stuck out his head. And the robbers recognized his face. Their reaction was something reserved only for the gods. They started shooting into the air, simultaneously shouting praises in a mind-boggling frenzy. Then Fela, who was laughing all the while, threw some ready-made joints towards them and then asked the bus driver to move. Be reading the next episode in our next video. You all have a nice day. Bye-bye.